Welcome everyone to Wizards Outlook. Joined by Cardell Dudley Jr. and Wilson Tarpe Jr. And look, the Thunder, they led wire to wire in a 127-104 win over the Washington Wizards. This is the second win over Washington this season, and that completes the season series. So later on in this year, when possibly seeding matters and records matter, this is another one of those moments. We already talked about the 10-game losing streak. Losing the season series to the Oklahoma City Thunder doesn't help your case at all. This is just the Thunder outcompeted them. I think they out-everything them for 4 quarters. But Cardell, your thoughts?
Yeah, the same thing. It's nothing the Wizards did better than OKC in any aspect of the game. It's nothing you could point to, but like, all right, that the Wizards had that. It was nothing. They got down big early. Bad shot selection. They weren't hitting shots. Then they started turning the ball over. And then the Achilles heel that for this team all season, they haven't got back on defense at all. And then the times they did get back in defense, the half-court defense is just, it's just non-existent. It's no resistance. Either guys are taking advantage of mismatches when the Wizards switch, or guys are getting a step on defenders, and there's no help at the rim, and they literally just getting a beeline to the basket to score. It was a layup drill. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Giddey, Mann, Dort, Williams, Omoruyi. You can just Muscala. You can just go down the line, man. They forced 20 turnovers from the Wizards, and ironically, the OKC was executing on both ends. That's the ironic thing. They were getting what they wanted offensively. Then defensively, they didn't allow the Wizards to get a rhythm at all. And OKC are the youngins. They're still trying to figure things out. The Wizards have vets who've been there, done that, and they look like OKC was just beneath them. We don't need to bring it. And I'm like, why? Y'all below 500. What am I missing? Y'all won a championship? Like, what's going on? You got to play the game. You might as well try to win it. So it's the same old Wizards, man. We could go ahead and try to trip about it or whatnot, but it's who they consistently are. And as you know, the late great Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. It's been past time to believe what they are. They went on a little 4-game winning streak. People got optimistic and stuff, but let's be real. They were beating teams. They won the games. They had to play on. They won them, but they were beating teams that were wounded, catching on back-to-backs and stuff like that. So they were kind of getting healthy as far as the Wizards. Bill was back and whatnot. Now that he's back out, it's like it's back to normal, what we've been seeing all season, man. It's just no excuse for I can't even say terrible defense, because you actually have to try to play defense for it to be terrible. It was just non-existent defense. And OKC took full advantage, man, and it just dominated them. It's just, 20 turnovers I saw, 20 turnovers. So OKC got 32 points off their 20 turnovers. Come on, man. It's just, you can't win like that. Then the Wizards allow 45% shooting from deep, 51% shooting from the field. The only thing the Wizards really won that was the rebounding, 46-41. But when you're turning the ball over like they are, that don't really help your cause. OKC had 30 assists. That tells you how much they were executing. They were moving the ball and just picking the Wizards apart, man. Then OKC had 66 points in the paint. It's just, and then the wild thing is OKC were fouling them. So my thing is, why are you shooting all those threes as usual? Why don't you try to attack? Why don't you try to attack and keep getting to the free throw line? The Wizards had 36 free throw attempts, and OKC only had 14, and they still lost by 17. So you control the ball, play a little defense, just a little. I'm just trying to be optimistic. Play a little defense. That's great for them. A little defense. You might have had a chance in this game, but It's the same thing as we've been saying all year. If the Wizards don't want to play defense, we're going to keep seeing more of this, especially as the season, we're about to pretty much, I say, a month and a half from All-Star break. And then after All-Star break, teams get serious because playoff seeding is at stake. They get in playoff mode. And if the Wizards don't want to play defense by the All-Star break, they're pretty much going to put them out their misery. And then it's time to start paying attention to the draft.
Yeah, look, there's not much to add. And like you said, the sad part is if you took the names off the jerseys or whatever, OKC looked like the veteran team tonight. They look like the mature team all night long. And some one of their turnovers to get the 9 was a shot clock violation at the end of the game in garbage time. Like they really took care of the ball well. And the other thing, like you said, I thought it was a great point talking about Washington. You got to the 36 attempts from the charity stripe. Why'd you keep jacking threes? You were the bigger team. Like, OKC's missing some of their height. You were a bigger team. Made no sense. Yet, you were the bigger team, and you still gave up more paint points. Like, Oklahoma City, we know you can't guard Shea. Cool. We know that. That's a given. We saw that here in Washington a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that could put the ball on the floor in a Thunder jersey tonight was getting 2 feet in the paint and either getting a bucket uncontested, and or kicking it out for good in rhythm threes. We didn't see anybody in Oklahoma City take. I don't remember too many, if any, like hurried, the hurried threes that we see Washington players take. They were in rhythm because they kept getting into the paint. They lived in the paint tonight, over and over again. And on the other end, we're seeing them as a smaller team. They were defending and rotating and fighting in the paint, where if Washington showed some of that fight, you were the bigger team. Where is it?
OKC didn't give up switches so easily. They tried to fight over screens to keep that man. Now, if the screen held up, then they would switch just to make sure the Wizards didn't get anything. The Wizards just switch just because you're there. And then you have a mismatch like that corner 3 with Dort.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, damn. Because Gav his natural instinct is to protect the basket. So he going to leak back into the paint. And I know he don't have confidence that anybody's going to stop anybody because, who stopped anybody? So he trying to protect the basket. Okay. And they know that. Okay, I'm going to drive. Oh, Gav, you right there. Here you go, Dort. And Dort has a quick release. He can catch the ball. And then one motion, he going into his shot. He don't need to take his time or nothing. Play with the ball. He catch the ball and go into his shot, and it's water. He had just hit a big shot like that on Cool. So, yeah, man. We're back on you, man.
Again, like you said, all those little things we talk about not playing defense as a whole. The effort level was bad on that end. Not trusting each other on that end. Meanwhile, you're watching the group of kids over there work fine on that end of the floor. Like during that run, was it midway through the first quarter when they decided to blow open the game? That was all fueled by Oklahoma City's defense. For them flying around, getting stops, getting out of transition. Look, and the other thing, like you said, talk about going into this game looking down on somebody. Like you before this game, you were literally like, you were even a full 2 games up over OKC. Now you're officially 1 game over them. But you're behind, luckily they're in another conference. Like, they got the season series against you. So you're 17-22, they're 16-22. One of you had aspirations this year, one of you is Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. When did the Nets come in here and when KD went crazy, when Kyrie was suspended and all that? When was that? Early December?
Early December.
That's crazy how quick the month will turn around. Because the Nets were below them in the standings and the Wizards were in the playoffs. Even though they were sliding, they were struggling, but they were still there. And now you look up, the Nets, the second damn seed, and the Wizards are 11th with the Toronto Raptors right there. And the Orlando Magic like 3 games back.
November 30th. Or are we talking about in Washington?
in Washington.
In Washington? All right, give me 1 second.
KD went crazy, and Utah and all of them was bombing them.
November 4th versus Washington or at Washington. I was November 4th.
Oh, that was November 4th?
Yeah, it was November 4th. But yeah, again, back then, November 4th, they were looking up at Washington. And everybody had jokes. Yeah. And by the second time they saw Washington, yeah.
Nah. Hold on, let me see.
Hold on, my bad. Because I'm trying to see how many times they played them already.
Yeah, that probably was it because Kyrie was back.
For the second one, right? Yeah.
That was the 12th. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm getting that mixed up with that. Yeah, so it was definitely November. But regardless, man, they were trying to come back. They were out of it, and here we are.
Man, like you want to talk about a change,
bro? Ooh. People, I despise this era right now because it's too offensive focused, man, and that's not basketball. You got to be able to defend. You got to be able to defend. Again, tonight was a perfect example. What if you're not hitting shots and the other team is? You're going to get the hell beat out of you. There was another game tonight. 51 points in the first quarter, 84 at halftime. By a team that has aspirations to win a championship, got bombed because they couldn't hit anything. They didn't play any defense. You have to play both ends. This isn't football. And I feel like even the league, they catered towards marketing offense and putting everything towards offense instead of putting it towards basketball and the competition, man. And now you got the players. It's no disrespect. If you get the players the easy way out to keep earning big dollars and they ain't got to do as much, of course they're going to take it for the most part. Of course they are. So, man, dog. And it's just, it's disgusting to watch, man. And like I said with the Wizards, and I'm always saying by this theory, if you can move on offense, you can move on defense. I don't want to hear it. Stop switching. Stop it. It hasn't worked. Why? It's like, why do you keep doing the same thing that hasn't worked? It hasn't worked. It don't work.
You're not capable of doing it. Not capable of doing it. Yeah.
You're getting, and teams know. Just be patient. The Wizards going to give us exactly what we want. Just be patient.
No. No, you had a team full of kids taking their time tonight getting the matchups that they wanted.
But they got two all-world guard. Well, potentially. Well, Shai is all-world, right. And Giddey has the potential to be that can control the game and do a lot of things. They got a great feel for the game, so they understand. Let's get the matchups we want and stuff. We ain't gotta force it. No one on the Wizards really has that feel, which is sad. You thought certain guys did, but it's shown this year that they don't. But this is the NBA. This is the highest level. It's just insane to me to keep doing something that hasn't worked. The switching has not worked. And I think they're trying to cover for certain guys because they're soft and they don't really want to. And I'm talking about Porzingis. He plays like a guy that's worried about getting hurt. And he's trying to make sure he get his bread. That's what he plays like sometimes when he settles for jumpers, when he got a 6'4", 6'5" dude on him. When he don't even attempt to block a shot. Like that play with DeLon Wright, I think it was a shot he had on baseline. He was forcing on baseline. He was forcing right to Porzingis. Porzingis kept backing up. And I think Shai just got an easy lay-in. I'm like, why are you backing? It's clear DeLon is trying to send him to you.
Mm-hmm.
Your man is a non-threat from the perimeter right now, man. He's the guy that comes in, rolls to the basket, finishes inside, try to get to the free throw line, or goes to work on the block. So he's out on the perimeter. He's a non-threat. Why are you backing up? This is just basketball IQ stuff, man. And all you gotta do is just stand there and be tall. And my man gonna reverse pivot. And now with DeLon right there, I got him. I'm gonna be trying to swipe at the ball, make it tough on the pass about it. He gonna have to call a timeout. We get that possession. We win it. He backed up And DeLon thinking he's somebody there, he just lays it up easily. And it's just like that's the epitome of a Wizards defensive possession, man, and why it shows the distrust that a lot of those dudes have for one another. And my thing is, who gonna rock the boat and get at people? But it might be too late now. It's January.
Like you said, that what you were just talking about a couple minutes ago about what time of the year it is, what time of the year we're approaching. Yeah. What are you? 6 games under 500, heading into that time of the year. Meanwhile, you saw the folks who kind of started slow make sure that they were well above the line they needed to be at heading into the serious part.
Mm-hmm.
We saw people make their moves. And you're looking up at 10th. It's not a good look. Like we're actively seeing people over the last month or so, teams that were kind of tripping get their act together because they know what's coming. You can't be too far back. Because on the other side of it, some of those teams the top 5 teams in the East right now, 1 through 5, some of those guys, they start playing more minutes come the second half of it. You're not going to get those breaks where it's, oh, man, it's the, 3/5 of the rotation is out tonight. No, they're not. Their full rotation is here. And you're 6 games under. So, again, it's just very unserious to me. You had every opportunity. You couldn't afford to go on a 10-game losing streak in the unserious part of the season. Yet you did. Look, we are where we are. And again, like I'm fine. I'm not upset. It's hard to watch when it just doesn't make sense. And these are decisions organizations are going to have to make, or they've made and they will have to make. But whatever you put into this team, 17 and 23 isn't it? I know Brad's been in and out, whatever. Y'all came here to talk about that big 3 or whatever. If it was in fact the big 3, you're not 6 games under 500.
Yeah, ain't no big 3.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing big about none of this. It's not.
Yeah.
They need to do that. That's the problem. Stop giving dudes praise that they have things that they haven't earned, titles and status that they haven't earned, man. Enough of that. That's the problem. Enough, man. Look,
10.5 games back. 10.5 games back.
Youngest in college, high school. I'm telling you, if you strap up, it's a hell of a payday waiting for you because these dudes don't want to. And I'm telling you, the league is looking for it. They're desperate. So if you strap up, you're going to have a nice little career.
They're looking up at teams that have been missing a bunch of players.
That's what, yeah.
Like Chicago's been a version of The Walking Dead almost all season. I never know who's in the lineup for Miami or not, and you're still looking up at them. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You're looking up at the New York Knicks.
Bro, you looking up the Bulls and the Hawks. The Bulls passed them tonight, and those they've been playing up and down. They've been playing bad too.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is they just got superstars that can go off and win games. They have superstars. That's the difference. Brad is an all-star. When I mean superstar, I mean like DeRozan and Levine and Trae Young. Those guys that can go off and will literally take a game. I think DeRozan took a game early this year, and I think it was the season opener. Well, he went off on or early in the season. He went off and won the game. Look, man. Like even Boston. Look what Boston did. They hit a little slide. I think they got embarrassed the game before. They got embarrassed by somebody.
Was it the Thunder?
Somebody embarrassed them. Somebody,
the Thunder
yeah,
put 50 up on them.
Yeah. They beat the hell out of them. And then they went into Dallas. All the Luka MVP talk, and then Jason Tatum, the boys took it to him. So that tells me, you know what I'm saying? All right, they still there. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're at the top of the league. Matter of fact, I think they're at the top of the league. They're literally the best record in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So how you want to compete with that? You can't. So they got a lot of soul searching to do, man. Because no disrespect, West Huntsville shouldn't even have to coach a veteran team. Shouldn't have to coach them on defensive intensity and defensive execution. If OKC was hitting tough shots and you doing what you playing tough defense, you know what we gonna do? We gonna be like, damn, OKC wasn't nothing they could do, dog. OKC was
it's one of those nights you live with it. But that's not what this is.
Hell no. This was glorified pickup.
And they were the team in the gym that refused to get back. At any time. Oh, that's just so. All right, look. Some of y'all have some comments. Whatnot. We're gonna get through some of this and get out of here. Player of the game. I mean, you can pick and choose. Go Shea. Gilgeous Alexander. X Factor. There were several. You could choose from on Oklahoma City. I was gonna throw Giddey in there, but I feel like that's being kind of lazy. But I thought those two did a bang up job.
He had 29-6 on 9-16, 2 of 2 from 3. He literally was point guard. He controlled the game. He ran the show, especially down the stretch. He was the X Factor.
All right. Ooh, bad game by everybody. Yeah, this is one you throw away. And again, this is one you shouldn't even be having to address or watch. What is this, the 40th game of the season? Like, that's crazy. It's the 40th game of the season. This is a performance in the 40th game of the season. A lot of ISO and over dribbling. Bad defense. What else is new?
No defense.
I'm not commenting on it. I share it. Not sure if y'all saw this, but Porzingis definitely did a pump fake against the guard. Our biggest is off, man.
You said it.
Also, way too many turnovers for sure. I miss his entire game because somebody's playing what happened. I think Cardell did a good job of it already. And I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't a bad game to miss. So you ain't doing anything wrong.
You missed anything.
Ray had something to take care of tonight, but I'm sure he didn't miss this game at all. No, man, at all. But look, this is the ugly part, like the tough part, right? You got the Pelicans coming here who are going to be a little bit upset because they lost to Brooklyn tonight. They'll be in the building on Tuesday or Monday. I'm sorry, Monday night. They'll be here on Monday night. So,
yep.
I mean, of course, there's no Zion, but again, the rest of the Pelicans is still the rest of the Pelicans, and the Wizards are the Wizards. We just saw what it looked like tonight against OKC.
CJ McCollum, possibly Brandon Ingram,
Mm-hmm.
Najee Marshall, who, regardless, I don't care who shows up. The Wizards ain't in no position to be thinking they just show up and play. So they need to show up and play.
They got Pelicans, Bulls, Knicks at home next week.
And the Warriors after that. And Steph might be back. Wiggins coming back. So and Steph probably will be back for that.
So you might get the Warriors close to full strength. Yeah.
And that's a Monday. I think Martin Luther King won the 16th.
Yeah, I think that's MLK Day, right?
Yep, 3:00.
Man.
Yeah. It's about to get too real. I think the only kind of inferior game they got were two, Rockets and Spurs, and they, like I said, they can't look at them as inferior because they only a couple games up. But this month full of heavy hitters as far as playoff seeding is concerned.
Yeah, they got Luka midway through near the end of the month.
Yep.
The Pelicans in the. Again. You remember we talked about earlier one of the months where things could get. We find out this month right here could just end the season.
Yep.
Like we're teetering on the brink, and how this month goes, it could just be a wrap. And like Cardell said, we'll just y'all can tune in to hear what he has to say about the draft. So you say we're bouncing the Pels. Watch. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I can't. I only know what they show us every night, man. And from night to night, I don't know what can happen. The only thing I can count on for the most part is that defense is optional. It's the only thing I know for sure.
Man, I wouldn't be optimistic about any team that don't play defense. Sorry.
But y'all have a great night, and we'll see y'all Monday night.